All right. Good day, everybody. All the Telosians around the globe. My name is JT Bice. I'm head of infrastructure with the Telos Foundation and Telos Core Developers. Today is our latest town hall where we are going to review some of the past. We're going to talk about projects that we've been working on and also announce some big leadership changes and projects that we're focusing on for 2024. This will be a series of town hall events. This is the first one that we will be doing. We're doing live right now. The next series will be a series of videos that will be pre-recorded, and then we're going to do a technical deep dive into a lot of the things that we're doing in 2024 in the third video. But as for today, like I said, my name is JT Bice. I am one of the co-founders of Telos. Been here since the beginning, since summer of 2018. Little bit about my background. I been in IT almost my whole life. Worked for a top 10 accounting firm as an IT manager, then moved on to run IT for testing and development at SpaceX, and then started my own IT business, which I successfully exited a year ago last month, and was able to join the Telos Core Developers in a full-time role. So we will be going through some really introducing some people that you guys have never seen before. I know that they've been popping up on Twitter and Telegram. Let me get the slideshow here. All right. So our agenda for today will be, like I said, talk about where we started, pass the torch to Justin to really talk about his past role as CEO and what what his new role will entail for strategy. Then we'll have introduce our new CEO and our head of Zero Knowledge, Alberto. Then also introduce Justin Edwards, our new head of gaming. But for now, we're going to discuss a little bit about our history and bring Jesse on to discuss that with me. If we can do it together. I don't think we're going to be able to do it together. Sorry about that. All right, there, just the two of us, Jesse. Like a typical last Thursday of the month, we will typically be doing a Telos Tech Talk today, but we're substituting the town hall event for that, as there will be some technical talk here. But I do want to introduce Jesse Schulman, our Telos CTO.
Hello, hello.
Nice to be here today.
In great company, more than just, not that you're not great company, JT, but excited to have everybody together here on this town hall, along with the new faces you mentioned. Really
Agreed.
Really exciting stuff here to wrap up the year.
So for people that don't know you, Jesse, why don't you give a little bit about your background?
My background, how far back? I was in real estate and spent most of my time playing video games, not a lot of time trying to sell houses. That was in my early 20s. I give credit to my time there, which gaming really got me into technology, building computers, self-taught pretty much everything, running the servers for, gaming servers and forums and everything. Real estate market crashed. Probably one of the best things that happened to me, because I said, all right, well, I'm going to just jump into technology. And I jumped in head first, got a job making minimum wage off of Craigslist. Best thing that could have happened to me, awful place to work, but I got to learn a lot. And then I stumbled into be the first kind of entry-level employee in the engineering team at ServiceNow. Started off just watching for servers to run out of disk space and stuff, and worked my way up there. So it was a really exciting part of my career to go through the startup IPO, from 120 people to 5,000 people when I left in 2015. And then I joined a startup from some guys that I met, and got to know really well at ServiceNow. And I was there from 2015 to 2020. And right there in the mix, I got into blockchain and really started to enjoyed that because I've always loved new technologies and technologies that people use. The best thing for an engineer is building something that people actually use. So I saw that opportunity and got involved in Telos in 2018, and kind of similar to you, came on full time. Although I'd been doing a lot and helping with a lot of different things, but came on full time in March of 2022.
Yeah.
And been rocking and rolling for quite a few years now with the EVM and everything. So
Yeah. And, now that I think about it, Jesse, I think you might be the one person that I've worked with the longest. Seriously, we've been working together for 5 years, over 5 years now. So 5.5. And I don't know that I've ever actually worked anywhere except for my own business for that long. So I'm glad to know you, sir.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's switch over and we'll talk a little bit about kind of where we came from. So in 2018, I guess it was really the summer of 2018, you and I and Douglas Horn and I think Justin was there and a few other people were really the core. We had a core group of about 30 people and a broader group of maybe 100 that really volunteered our time to get this thing off the ground and really see kind of the fruition of the white paper and see it play out as best that we can. We took a very limited number of tokens as far as founders are concerned, and airdropped over 90% of the tokens when we went live in December of 2018. Whether or not that was a mistake, yet to be seen, but it did give us some really awesome protection from the SEC. It gave us the ability to be able to tell people that, yeah, we had a fair launch. It wasn't founders hoarding a ton of tokens. We were really wanting to spread the wealth, so to speak. Wouldn't you say,
Well,
Jesse?
it's one of it was a great filter, right? Like if you don't want to, the type of personalities that there are plenty of in crypto, the grifters or however you want to refer to them, the people that are just in it for the money. If you don't want those people to be participating in the launch of your network, don't do an ICO. Let everybody know that there's not a big pile of cash that's sitting there for the team, like you said. So so everybody that got involved was really there for reasons different than a lot of the projects that were starting in 2017 and 2018. They were here, here for the tech, here for the community, here for building something together. And it's like you said, it's been a rough, in the first years of launching a network, arguably at the start of a bear market, with no real solid funding, just a token. And not even distributing much of the token to the team. That, the fact that Telos survived through those grassroots early years, I think was an incredible benefit that we have today. However hard it might have been to survive through, those early years. Now today, it's something that you can't do. You couldn't go do that again, probably in this industry. So.
And the Antelope stack that Telos and a few other networks use is extremely powerful. And we saw a lot of great apps that deployed on Telos. We saw a lot of great partnerships that came out in those early years and just people that were really on fire for the network. But although the Antelope stack is super powerful, we're starting to see a trend where Ethereum and EVMs were seen as having the highest adoption and the most tool sets, right? So then in the fall of 2020, we decided to go full on and develop an EVM as a smart contract on Telos Zero. And you really headed that up.
Yeah. So we started. There was like an open source kind of reference implementation that was created as part of like a bounty, but it really was lacking a lot of features. It wasn't ready to put into production. And so we saw the opportunity there to take that and actually deploy it into production and be, one of the leading fastest EVMs running on, Antelope, which is arguably the best tech or some of the best technology out there for blockchain, kind of as the base layer. But providing the EVM ecosystem with all those benefits was really the goal. And we realized it, and people came and tried it, liked it, stuck around. It's been a really rewarding thing to have people come and say, oh, this is fast. This is great. I love it. You know, they come, they try it, and then they want to keep building on it. So that was why we did it. And it's been a great thing for us, for Telos.
Yeah. So in the summer of 21, after a lot of that code had been written by you and other members of the team, we sent it off for a third-party audit with a company called Sentinel. And that was a security firm that was auditing Web3 code, smart contracts. And while fuzzing our EVM against Geth, the EVM that most people use, open source project, been very popular. They actually found a critical bug in Geth where they put one input in our EVM, one input in Geth, and they came out differently, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the differential fuzzing, yeah, Sentinel, Guido, he's found a lot of issues. He's a very talented kind of security engineer, and so he was running this. It was automated fuzzing, so he had some like code that generated inputs, ran them through both our EVM and the Go Ethereum client, and then observed the output, right? With the understanding that ours should behave like theirs. So anything that comes out different, we would identify, and we would find the cause and fix it so that that same input would produce the same output, which was the exercise we went through for the audit. We found a bunch of discrepancies. We fixed them while we were building the EVM. The one discrepancy where we looked at it and figured out, whoa, we actually did the right thing, but Geth did the wrong thing. So through that exercise, he found that vulnerability while working on our audit, and it got us a lot of attention. You know, there's articles out there where they had to patch it. They had to go through the process of releasing a patch for a vulnerability that could fork the network, not only Ethereum, but other networks also. At the time and still now are running forks of Go Ethereum. So many networks had to apply that patch, do it kind of in a coordinated, time-sensitive way, and then any of the nodes that didn't apply the patch, eventually somebody saw and reverse engineered the patch and then sent in a transaction that caused the network to fork. So it was an interesting thing to watch kind of from the inside.
Yeah.
And got us a lot of attention, built a lot of confidence in our EVM and how it behaved, because it did the right thing in that case.
That's right. So then after that, we secured about $8 million in funding that really allowed the organization to become more mature. We added some new talent and then continued development of the Telos EVM. And then in 2022 and 2023 has really been 2 years to focus on that tool set, to focus on the EVM, focus on our network, relationships with the block producers, and focus on usability. So why don't you briefly hit some of the tools that we've built, Jesse?
Yeah, so for a number of reasons, one, although we did raise what is a lot of money to hopefully most everybody, it's a good amount of money. It still isn't enough to cover all of the costs of the buy versus build decision that you often face in software. So some of these tools are expensive, to be perfectly fair. Some of the leading block explorers like Etherscan and different tools that you really need for an EVM are expensive, and we had to go and make the decision to build them ourselves. And so with some of this time we've spent, and also because we weren't Geth, right? We were a bespoke, unique, different EVM. We weren't just another off-the-shelf fork of the Go Ethereum code base. We were different in a lot of ways. We have no front running. We have much faster block times. We can fit many more transactions per second than really any other network. So all of those factors made it that we needed to focus on providing the most rich tool set to our developer ecosystem that we could. Now we have the EVM technology, which is the most widely adopted blockchain tech. It has a lot of tooling out there. We need to make sure we were compatible with it, and that we offered some of our own tools like our block explorer, so Telos Scan, like our wallet, the web wallet. We had to build an indexer so we could have enriched data and tell you what NFTs you own and all the different things that we have now today and continue to build. We really had to focus on those things. So now we launched this EVM, but how are people going to touch and feel it and use it and really see what's going on inside the network? That was what we had to focus on. And the non-technical teams focused on building the app relationships, bringing in those partners, getting people using it, and the tech team focused on making sure when they did use it, it was a great experience and they had all the tools that they needed and were familiar with from other EVM networks.
Awesome. So what about OBE?
OBE. So Telos is an Antelope-based technology. We had the native network, as we call it, Telos Zero. We have the blockchain there does not use EVM technology. So there was a block explorer that we had been using. It was provided by a third party. They came in one day, just like I said, things are expensive, and asked to start being paid for what had been a free kind of public good. And we didn't, want to go that path. It was a lot of money. It was very sudden. And we realized, we can't depend on closed source software for critical components of what a network needs. So we said, we're going to build that ourselves and we're going to make it public so that any other Antelope network that needs it can also have what you need. Because, you can turn on a network, but that's not what really you need. You need the network and then all of the tooling. You need the block explorer and the wallet and some of these interfaces, because otherwise people can't really use it, even if the network's running. So OBE is Open Block Explorer was the acronym, and it's an Antelope-based explorer. It's for all of the networks that run the same protocol that Telos runs. And we built that out so that we could have, something in our own control that can't be taken away. That's not a closed source explorer.
All right. And then we also needed a way to be able to index all the transactions that have occurred on not only the EVM chain, but also Telos Zero. And you wrote 2 separate indexers for that as well, right, Jesse?
Yeah, so we built the Telos Scan indexer. So Telos Scan, even today, the released version is using the EVM RPC. We added a couple, because it is a custom EVM, we were able to add some extra API routes to the RPC so that you could search things that you normally can't search from a normal EVM, but it still wasn't enough. We wanted to be able to show the token holder list, what NFT, query NFT ownership, just all the things that you can't get from a normal standard EVM RPC. So we built out a indexer that puts all the data into a traditional database and makes it available. And we continue to build that and add more data, more enriched data. And we've got ready to release, once we've got a few more kind of testing and stability things under our belt, the Telos Scan Explorer will start using all that data and start exposing even more than it does today. So you can see token holder lists, NFT ownership, transfers, all sorts of different data points that aren't there today will show up once that release is done. And that's all made possible through the Telos Scan indexer. So which will also really exciting new release. Yeah.
And it'll make the Telos Scan block explorer way faster. I mean, I've used the preview in the last few weeks, and it is incredible how much faster it is than the one that we have now. So I think that users are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah. And the preview, we've shared the preview out there. There's been some times when people were looking for something, they couldn't see what they were looking for. And actually many times, and it's very refreshing, is, oh, well, some of our partners trying to figure out certain transactions. We shared the preview of the new Explorer, and it's right there. So we've already tackled the issues. We just haven't yet been able to release it to the main, teloscan.io.
Yeah. Why don't you just spend maybe 1 to 2 minutes talking about the web wallet and EVM 1.5?
Yeah. So the web wallet originally was just the Telos native web wallet, and it was, I like to differentiate between a signer, the thing that has your private keys and signs the transactions, and the wallet, which is really more like the front end that shows you your balances, lets you make transfers, all the things that you see. A lot of times they're the same thing. Sometimes they're separate. So the web wallet for us really is not a signer. It doesn't get your keys. The web wallet is exposing all that friendly user interface to the user, letting them log in with MetaMask or whatever wallet they prefer. On native, we also support the Anchor wallet and different native wallets. So it allows you to use your wallet, use your signer that you prefer to use, and get full access to your blockchain data, do transfers, see your NFTs, things like that. So we've been working a lot on adding features to that. It also uses that Teloscan indexer, doing DeFi approvals and revoking those approvals, seeing NFTs and transferring them. All that stuff's made possible by the Teloscan indexer and having that data there in the database. So the Teloscan wallet, the Telos wallet is a pretty critical part of a smooth user experience. And as we get more wallet support, signer support, we're going to be integrating more signers into it so that anybody can use the wallet UI with their signer wallet of choice. The 1.5 release is a RPC, and it also has a bunch of changes to the EVM contract, mostly fixes, some performance, and some functionality. So what we've been focusing on is making sure all of our data is 100% accurate that we get from the transaction receipts. So if you look at like an Explorer and you see kind of some of the internal things that happen during a transaction, we're making sure we have all the data we need to present that in Teloscan. Some other things, because Telos EVM is a smart contract on the native layer, you can deposit and withdraw between Telos native, Telos 0, and Telos EVM. And those transactions weren't showing up in Telos 1.0 in the 1.0 EVM. So 1.5 now will allow you to see your deposits, your withdrawals. You can see where tokens come in and out of and things like that. So
and 1.5 has been in beta.
Having a lot of functionality that we've needed. Yeah, go ahead.
And that RPC has been in beta for the last few months, and we expect it to go live here before the end of the year, right?
Yeah, it's very close. And it's a series of steps. The RPC that you use will get cut over to 1.5 towards the end of the process, but some of the fixes to the smart contract that some of our partners are waiting on are going to go live sooner. So it's a sequence of events. But yeah, the beta version is actually available and being used by some people already. And the full cutover hopefully by the end of the year.
Awesome. And then the big news from the last month was the release of the Layer 0 bridge and really our relaunch of DeFi since the multi-chain collapse. That's been something that Nikki has been in our business development wing. She's been hunting apps hard, and we have an incredible influx of DeFi partners that are onboarding on the EVM, and it's been incredibly exciting to see. They're not only loading us down a little bit, we're seeing a lot more transactions than we've seen in the last year or so, and it's been something really fun to watch as the graph just keeps going up, right?
Yeah, a lot more transactions, a lot more activity, pushing the limits, and again, it's really satisfying when they ask for stuff that we've already either been building or already have available for them. So it's great. People awesome. Using what you build.
Good update. Thank you, sir. All right. With that, we're going to move over to Justin. Justin, how are you, sir?
Good to be here. I was a little sick earlier, but I'm feeling good and I'm pumped up now.
Yeah, your voice sounds better.
That's good to hear.
That just goes to show the dedication, day or night, hungry, sick, doesn't matter. We're gonna be here. We're still gonna be working on Telos, right?
Totally, man. Totally.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Justin.
Yeah, so I've got a product design and development background in technology, web technology. Before Telos, obviously the last 5 years, has been totally focused on crypto and Telos, and obviously that still brings in my past background with web technologies. But I mean, yeah, it's been quite a ride over the last 5 years, especially the last 2+ years as CEO. It was an absolute privilege to represent the community on that basis. I mean, it was an honor to be CEO. In my new role that I'm transitioning to, or in currently, is head of strategy, or I get to do a lot of the same things that I was able to do as CEO, but I take a bit of a step back from operations, which for me is an exciting thing. I've had a kid in the last year plus, and I can't give 24/7 to Telos anymore, but I can give 12 hours a day at least. So not really giving up too much there. But yeah, as I said, it was an absolute privilege to do that role, and it's an absolute privilege now to serve as head of strategy.
That's awesome. Yeah, Justin, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm excited for your new role at Telos. And I think that between working on strategy with us for product, working on fundraising, working with partners, I think that is really your love, right?
Oh,
Your
definitely.
passion.
Yeah, it's really my bread and butter, and that's something with the new CEO, which I'll introduce in a second. One of the great things is that Lee brings in a different set of skills, some really great operational skill sets, and that allows me to go off and do what I do best, which is setting up big deals and investor relations and all this kind of stuff. So over the next few months, stakeholder / investor relations is going to be a key focus. The technology that you guys are building within the TCD is truly groundbreaking. I have this saying that I've been putting together that, currently, like in Web3, we've only been servicing, less than 10% of the potential use cases that will transition from Web2 and archaic before that to Web3, because of the simplicity of the types of public transactions that we're able to do. And what you guys are doing is bringing a whole another 90% and really opening things up. And I think this is something that we can take to a broader community of stakeholders, investors, whatever, globally, because we're primarily US based, and we can take that and we can get that to more and more people and really get some extra support, financial support into the ecosystem, not just for Telos as a blockchain, but also the underlying or the projects that are building on top. And some of these projects that will be building using this new technology that you guys are building, leveraging ZK. So it's very exciting. And should I go ahead and introduce our new CEO?
Let's bring him on.
Yeah. So over the last couple of weeks, and even before that, I've had the privilege of getting to know Lee, who was the CEO of Swap School. So he comes from our ecosystem. And he's really shown to be, really collaborative, no ego, and such a good operational genius. He also has a lot of vision for the chain, which I love as well. But what impresses me the most about Lee is that I feel like he can take the reins at the foundation and its operations and really get the most out of people, and really take what we've been building over the last 6 months and ideating on and really drive that forward and get us to deliverables. And I think that's really exciting. So without further ado, I guess I'll hand it over to Lee to fully introduce himself. I feel like I haven't really done justice there.
Thank you, Justin, and I appreciate the introduction and also the baton being passed on here as well. Honestly, it's an honor and a privilege, firstly, to extend upon the work that has already been done within this ecosystem. And I do not take this task lightly, and I will be grinding day in, day out to ensure the success of this overriding ecosystem and narrative and roadmap that we're trying to achieve. In terms of, I'll give you guys a bit of a snapshot overview of my previous work history. I kind of started in the banking world, which was kind of, let's say, over a 10-year period where I started and at the ground level and worked my way up via various different departments throughout banking. And then I decided to kind of go into kind of commercial construction. And I found myself running businesses that employed 50 to 100 people plus, and operations was a natural kind of skill set that I found myself good at. And then crypto found its way to me as it just did. It just naturally collided with my world. And when it did, I started coming in really as a researcher. And then I was applying my analytical kind of thought process to my investments, just really coming as an investor more than anything to begin with. And then once I become an investor, you then start digging into the community relationship along the way. So, and I understood it more than others, based probably upon the time that I dedicated towards educating myself on the technology and the opportunity that existed within this technology. And then that naturally moved on to me becoming a bit of an educator and a bit of a hand holder in the community, where I wanted to help a lot of individuals accelerate their knowledge base on the technology and understanding the technology as well. Then that moved on to being an advisor as I become respected as an educator. And I was an advisor on many projects, some successful, some failures, as they do within this space. And then quite quickly moved on to becoming a founder of the Swapsicle Foundation that has not only built a fantastic product in the Swapsicle DEX, that it's got other products to come in the future as well that were on the roadmap. And I'm really proud of what we built there. And it was heartbreaking to leave Swapsicle. But then I realized that there was a bigger task at hand, that growing the overall ecosystem as well. So I felt that this was the perfect time for me to extend my experiences within the space, and also leveraging all the skill sets that I've not only learned in Web3, but also in my high level commercial operational experience as well, where I really felt that I could add value to not only this community, but the overriding network as well. And that hopefully gives you guys a bit of a snapshot overview of my CV, a little bit about myself. And hopefully, JT, we can now move on to the next slide, if that's okay. Did you want to intro us into this slide, JT, or do you want me to just take it from here?
Just take it from here, Lee. It's all you.
Okay, great. Could you bring the slide back up, please? Okay, cool. So I think from my point of view coming in, we wanted to create one team, one vision. And that meant a couple of different things. And the key part of trying to arrive on this was streamlining our success, right? And our resources, and also our combined vision for where we see Telos in the future as well. And I believe if the TCD and TF become one, I believe that we pool resources and we're all in the same boat together, all riding on the same wave to the same endpoint. And I believe that this is a very wise decision that everybody's collaboratively got behind. And the output of that in the short term is a 2024 and 25 roadmap that is going to be delivered to you guys on the 18th of December. So the TCD and the TF are collaborating a lot behind the scenes currently around a very, very, very exciting roadmap for 2024 and 2025, which will not only grow the network, but will actually put us at the forefront of innovation as well. I believe that this will unify Telos, not only from a resource point of view, but from a community point of view as well. And I believe that we collaboratively become more efficient, and we remain laser focused on the journey that we're about to go upon. Because honestly, this workload that we're going to announce within the roadmap is very, very, very significant based on the current resources that we have available to us. But I'm sure together we become one, and then we're all going to go to war together, guys. We're going to be working ridiculous hours to ensure that we get this fantastic world-class roadmap delivered within a time frame that the community expects. And yeah, that's pretty much it on the one team, one vision slide. And thank you, JT, for moving on to this, which is really, we needed to create a solid foundation of how we're going to actually build this roadmap out. And we kind of thought, why are we doing this? Why are we developing this? Why are we thinking this? So what we decided is we needed a foundation, and we wanted to create 3 pillars. And the 3 pillars were going to be 3 questions that we asked ourselves before we started collaborating on not only the roadmap, but anything from a development point of view from here onwards as well. First thing, technological brilliance. Are we advancing the Telos tech stack in a way that we feel that we can be groundbreaking and innovating and working towards a world where not only can we add use cases to the Telos tech stack, but also can we be the first to market around certain use cases, and can we offer scalability for enterprise level applications? So technological brilliance, pillar 1. Then user experience. As we're growing out this ecosystem, we've got Telos Zero, we've got Telos EVM, and it might go on to other kind of facets within the actual ecosystem as we go. And the question is, can we improve the user experience? And Jesse and JT were talking about like indexes and infrastructure as well in the earlier part of the presentation. And I believe that we get the infrastructure right and we consider the user experience along the way as well. But we can onboard as many of these Web2 users that are ready to be onboarded into these types of ecosystems, especially in the future as we look to onboard Web2 brands into this ecosystem. And I believe that making that experience as seamless as possible, and we have this interoperable world within our ecosystem, I believe that this is a key foundational pillar that we're going to consider during the build out of the overall roadmap. And then the last one, which is I'm a tokenomics guy. I'm a DeFi guy by heart. I'm a degen, right? I understand tokenomics. I get it. And it's a passion of mine. And something that I wanted to ask, why are we developing this? Is it adding utility into the actual underlying native token, the Telos token? And then when you start asking these questions, it then makes you reconsider some direction that you may be going in as a collective group. So can we add inclusivity? Can we add utility? And can we add decentralization throughout our roadmap throughout 2024 and 25? And based on all the conversations and everything that we're getting on paper at the moment, this is going to lead us onto something that we believe is going to become an ultra active asset within the ecosystem. And let's just say I'm really excited around the conversations that we're having around the Telos token as a whole and how we can utilize this for greater use cases within the ecosystem as well. Next slide, please, JT. Okay, cool. So we're now going to go back to one organization, one direction, and the vision for the future. So I know we talked about technology and infrastructure, but also for tooling as well. Tooling is very, very important for DApp onboarding. And Nikki is grinding daily to bring DApps on board. And we're onboarding. There's agreements being signed every week at the moment from an onboarding process. And I believe that this is going to accelerate over 2024 and beyond. And the amount of activity on testnet and mainnet is going to substantially increase based on the agreements that are currently being signed and what we've got within the lead generation software that we currently have. In terms of the tooling is very important to ensure that we have this seamless DApp developer kind of experience, that they come over to tell us not only are they having a 0.5 second block times, not only are they having the cheap smart contract deployment on EVM, but the tooling is there to support them and help them grow their dApps in a cost-efficient, cost-effective manner as well. We obviously talked about user experience. I wanted to kind of extend upon that a little bit regarding my vision about user experience. Is we talk about cloud wallets, we talk about social wallets. And what I mean by social wallets is you can use a social login that will effectively act like more like an Xbox account where you type your email in, your password, but they can actually hold value where you don't have to worry about your keys or anything like that, and not have to worry about security either, where you can seamlessly interact with DeFi dApps and also the games within the ecosystem and not really have to worry about the custody of your assets and actually really understanding them as well, because education is a key part here. So firstly, we want to onboard people in a seamless manner, but once they're here, we want to educate them also. And Peter and the marketing team are primed to roll out more educational content going into 2024 as well. And then we talk about interoperability. We need to make sure that we don't have this fragmented ecosystem from a DApp point of view and from a asset point of view. So we want to ensure that value and dApps can flow seamlessly within the ecosystem, and we will fully encourage that and supply the tooling to enable that to happen also. In terms of, this is the passion part, guys, about, firstly, I want to kind of congratulate and thanks to Chris Waxer regarding the fantastic rebranding that we've just gone through, which we feel is like now ready for enterprise level adoption. He's done a fantastic job with the team, and I'm really proud. I'm really proud to be a part of this brand. However, what we're going to do, we're going to extend that brand. We want to connect to the community, and without giving too much away at this point, we want to change the culture and we want to connect to the community so the community feel like they are involved, not only from an emotional, physical, but digital point of view as well. And there'll be some exciting announcements around this in the near future. And we're very busy behind the scenes coming up with some great plans. And I'm very, very excited to deliver what we've got planned in either the latter part of 2023 or the early part of 2024. And then the last point is evolving the talent. Not only are we recruiting world-class talent, because I'm a believer of quality over quantity, but also there is so much fantastic talent within this organization. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. The first week as a CEO, obviously you guys can probably understand that you reach out to everybody individually, you get to know them, you get to understand their skill sets and what they're capable of delivering as well. And even though we're obtaining world-class talent, we have world-class talent already within the organization. And what we need to do as an organization is utilize that talent and let it flourish. And that's one of my key management skill sets that I believe. I believe that I can inspire people, and I believe that I can get the most out of this collective group. And the response that I've had so far from everybody collectively has been, honestly, I've almost got a little bit emotional about it, regarding the response that I've had from all the individuals within the organization. And all it does is inspire me to work more. Like the first week was ridiculous, like 12, 16-hour days minimum, right? And you're exhausted. But then when you meet these people and you can feel why they're part of the organization, it just drives you to do more. So a week and a half in, I'm fully bought in, and I'm kind of like, LFG, let's go into 2024, guys.
That's awesome. Thanks, Lee. I appreciate you introducing yourself and really sharing your vision as a CEO at Telos. And I, for one, speak for the entire TCD and TF in welcoming you. Glad you're here.
Thank you, JT. I appreciate it. And I'll lead it back to you, my friend, and then you can move on to the next slides.
All right. Fantastic. All right. Alberto Garoffolo, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, JT?
I'm doing great. Glad you're here. I know that we've had you on a tech talk in the past to talk about your role at Telos and your experience in zero knowledge. So I am going to leave it to you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay, first of all, hello, everybody. Okay, in the past years, in my career, I led the development in several startup companies. For example, the last role that I covered before joining crypto was the CTO of a startup company where I designed and then led the development of a system that was using artificial intelligence to fully automate KYC processes. And let's say, we were using AI for doing facial feature recognition and to really detect that the person on the other side was a real person and so on. And do all an automated process in order to verify that the person was the person that it was claiming to be, and that he had the document to certify that. And this is just one of the example of the startups where I worked in. And when this project went into production, a friend of mine and also a former colleague told me about Zencash at that time and about the crypto world. And as you can imagine, I got immediately fascinated. So it was 2017, and then, as you can imagine, some people around me were, let's say, a bit skeptical, but I really liked too much the idea, and also I always like new challenges. So the choice was already made. So there was no other way. And now, I can say that it was for sure the right choice. I had a lot of fun during these years and learned a lot of things. So I'm very excited about this work. And okay, now when I started working at Zen, it became immediately evident to me that the potential of blockchain going beyond the cryptocurrency use case, and also became evident the limitations in terms of scalability. So, at that point, I started researching at possible solutions in order to allow the development of applications going beyond the cryptocurrency use case, and how to do it in a scalable way. So I started thinking in terms of parallel blockchains, and then I looked at the existing models at the times of sidechains, and became clear that the models out there were or centralized or non-scalable, so not really a solution. So I started working on, first on a design, on a first solution based on an incentive and penalty scheme. But then I started considering the usage of ZK SNARKs, and in particular recursive SNARKs, to implement a fully trustless and decentralized protocol for cross-chain transfers. So in collaboration with IOHK, we worked on the design of the Zendoo protocol and the white paper. Now, as you probably know, the really secure L2 bridges that are out there are based on recursive SNARKs now. But at that time was for sure not so obvious, and we had a lot of challenges ahead of us, but was really funny. And okay, so obviously after the design and the paper and the research, as the CTO at Horizon, I led also the development of the Zendoo implementation and also the integration in main chain of the protocol. And let's say it was a running cryptocurrency. And so, that was quite an interesting part of the job. And conducted several other researches in the zero knowledge space. After Zen and Horizon Labs, then I moved to IHK, and in particular as head of engineer of the Midnight project, that, as you probably know, has the focus on data privacy and uses also zero knowledge. And around 6 months ago, I met the Telos founders, and I immediately saw their enthusiasm for the adoption of zero knowledge, and we fully shared the same vision. So now, as the head of zero knowledge here at Telos, I'm working with a team of researchers on a fully novel protocol that is also going to be fully described in an upcoming white paper. I cannot yet disclose the details of the protocol, but I can anticipate to you the vision we have for the coming future of decentralized blockchain systems. So we can move to the next. Oh, we are already there. Okay, yes. Okay, so what is preventing blockchain mass adoption? This is the big question. No? There are many aspects, but let's start saying that currently we are seeing on blockchain an infinitesimal part of the potential applications, and this is heavily limiting its adoption. But okay, what are the reasons? I heard scalability, for example, because I heard in the past that DeFi is the only use case for blockchain, because otherwise you would have already seen other use cases growing. But in my opinion, is strongly misleading. If we look at things more into details, it becomes clear that DeFi is one of the few use cases that is capable of paying, let me say, dollars in fees per single transactions. Because many other use cases, paying dollars or tens of dollars per transaction, would kill the use case by itself. So transaction cost is one, but not only the main barrier to enable more use cases. So the scalability part. On the other hand, another aspect is users' data privacy. So this is a fundamental aspect that, if it is not present, prevents a huge number of applications. And let's think about a payroll system, or, for example, a medical application, where it is immediately clear to everyone that publishing your medical information on a blockchain is not exactly a wise idea. You don't want to have your medical data published on a public ledger forever. Not a clever idea, I would say. So user data privacy. And then another aspect is compliance. I mean, it's becoming more evident that this is a huge barrier for blockchain adoption and compliance with government rules. So just to make an example, we would expect a compliant casino game app to verify if participants are over a certain age. And this is just, let me say, just one of the examples, but you can extend this to so many use cases. So summarizing, we mentioned 3 huge barriers here that are preventing a huge number of use cases and consequently blockchain mass adoption. Transaction fees, so scalability, data privacy, and compliance. And okay, but what do they have in common, all these 3 aspects? They can be solved using SNARKs and zero knowledge. For example, if you want to provide user data privacy, you can use zero knowledge to prove some statements on the user data without having the user sharing his data on the blockchain. And instead, in the compliance example, a user can, for example, I mean, going back to the previous example, prove to be over 18 without sharing any other information regarding his identity. So the user, your identity data stay on your computer, and then you generate a proof that you are over 18, and such proof is, let me say, sent to the blockchain with your transaction, within your transaction, but you're not sharing any other personal information about yourself. So, well, that's amazing, no? I mean, we solved the problem. Okay, that's true, but as you can probably already see, in order to enable blockchain mass adoption, the next technological challenge to solve is supporting an extremely high volume of transaction with zero knowledge proofs. Because, let me say, in all the examples we made, we need to have a zero knowledge proof along with the transaction. And if you add to that also the upcoming opportunity to use artificial intelligence on chain, and this will be possible by using zero knowledge in order to avoid expensive verification on chain, I mean, it's even more clear how much important is going to be support zero knowledge in a massively scalable way. And just for compliance reason, potentially, any transaction could come with a zero knowledge proof. So with this vision in mind, we have been working on the design on a completely novel decentralized protocol that massively scales zero knowledge enabled transactions in order to make Telos a leading player in this industry. So, as I said before, I cannot yet disclose the details, but in the next weeks, we will finalize and publish the white paper. So, I mean, so you will have more info. So I think that's all from my side.
That's
Back
great.
to you, JT.
Thank you, Alberto.
You're welcome.
Glad you're on board, sir. All right. With that, we will introduce our latest addition to the Telos Foundation. His name is Justin Edwards. He comes to us from Decentraland. And Justin, I think this is what, day 3 for you?
Day 3, yes.
Day 3 and already on the live stream.
Yeah, it's actually been a great onboarding experience to hear all the different history talks and, you know, from the different speakers and the events going on and such like. So it's been a really good learning curve for me as onboarding on day 3.
All right. Well, I will let you introduce yourself, give you a little bit of background, and then just let me know when you want to advance the slides.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. Day 3, super thrilled to be here at Telos, and I can tell you a little bit about myself to take you through some of the background and journey I've been on so far, my travel to Telos. So if you can just skip forward one, JT, that'd be great. So here's some of the products I've been working on. So I've been in the gaming industry for a long time now. It's coming up to 20 years that I've been working in sort of gaming, video gaming, production, and platform building and such like. And for me, it really all started a long time ago, back when I was one of the early contributors to RuneScape and Old School. And many of you may be familiar with this product, and maybe grew up and during your childhood at school and spent a lot of time in RuneScape and have fond memories of it, hopefully, as I do. So 12 years I worked on RuneScape. I started out really, a lot of my work was in production, so I was the sort of production director at Jagex, that's the maker of RuneScape. We had around 500 employees at the time. So I was kind of like responsible really for that kind of tracking of the sort of program of work that was happening around the studio, rolling out kind of agile development methodologies when they were very much in their early days of experimentation at that time. And had already learned a lot from the experience. Moved into actually running the RuneScape team itself as game director for subsequent years post that, and did some really cool, interesting, exciting projects like actually forking the main game so that we could bring back a retro version of RuneScape, which was called Old School, which really stems from listening to the community. It was something they really wanted to see come back. So we brought that back for them, and it's been amazing results. Since the launch of Old School, it's actually overtaken now RuneScape main game in terms of player numbers. So it's been a very interesting journey for me working on RuneScape, and now I saw last week that it's actually got more players now than it ever has done in its sort of 25-year history. So it's going strong still, which I'm very pleased to see. My journey kind of from Jagex took me further north in England to a place called Nottingham, where I was working for a company called Lockwood Publishing as operations director for the studio. We were making a game called Havoc in Life, maybe not so well known to some of you, but also still quite a popular product. We were kind of getting in the realms of 1 million MAU. And so, it had around 200 million accounts created during its time. Very much like a Sims-esque free-to-play mobile metaverse, if you like. And it was my first experience with really running live ops on a busy kind of mobile product and integrating a lot of brands into the product itself as well. So the early stages of kind of what we were seeing in the metaverse later on happening, working with brands like the Buice to integrate music into the product, and TikTok campaigns and such like. So worked on Havoc in Life for a few years, and then I'm sure a lot of you will know about Decentraland, who I joined in 21 as COO, and Decentraland's very much that sort of pioneer in the metaverse space. It was the first product to run on the blockchain virtual world. So ICO'd back in 2019 with Mana, and had a lot of success in terms of being the first in the market. And I really kind of like relished that sort of pioneer kind of environment to sort of thrive in, being the first to do some of these things. So that was really, really fun and interesting. And so that exposed me to a lot of the Web3 world, and obviously got up to speed very quickly at Decentraland from Web2, and I think this brings me on to really talk about my time at Telos now, and why I think Web3 is the right thing for gaming, and for us to spend a bit more time investing in. And so, why is Web3 something we should be looking at right now? And I feel like there's a few reasons why the market is turning, and there's a few reasons why there's a lot of people in the industry that feel like 2024 could be the year, and it's likely to be the year that we see a lot more adoption coming to Web3 gaming. So the first point is really around, when we first saw Web3 games coming out in 2021, there were a lot of lessons learned from the games that came out. And there were a lot of mistakes that were made, with benefit of hindsight when games were launched in the Web3 space. And building a game on the blockchain is hard. And I think, there were a lot of lessons learned from things like onboarding experiences, and the level of player numbers dwindled when the funnels were so hard to enter the scene. When we're asking players to enter, to create a wallet, for instance, to play the game, and they're not really too sure what a wallet is and how to do it. And all these kind of hurdles through the blockchain integration into games made it very difficult for companies players to actually get involved in these products. And there's a lot of lessons learned in terms of game design, the economies that run on these products, and where we've seen these problems happen in the past. We've learned from those things, and now we're starting to see some of those new products coming out that have learned from those mistakes. And it's taken a while because building a game is tough, and it takes anywhere between 2 to 5 years to build a very good game. And so we have to wait for those learnings and those new products to come on board and to come to fruition. And now we're seeing a lot of products in sort of alphas and betas, and that really have learned from those mistakes, and they look very good. And what they're focusing now, very much so, is on the design and the fun of the game. So these are Web3 games coming out that are actually like really addictive, really retentive, really engaging, and really fun to play. And I think that's basically, when we see the first of these come across, I think we're going to see a lot more coming across with it later. The other thing I've noticed is that there's also a lot of AAA studios that have started to trickle into this space. There are some studios, Sega, for instance, has come across, CCP, Ubisoft are doing some things in the NFT space. And I was reading the other day that there was a statistic that suggested that a third of sort of AAA well-known studios are coming across into Web3 and have done so far. So that adds a lot of confidence that things are happening when the big studios start to see some of the other studios doing, coming up with some good results in this space. It's adding a lot of confidence to the market. And lastly, our last point on the slide here is really about, we just heard all about, the zero knowledge and the EVM, and we feel like we're in a great place to move into this space with a gaming sidechain, to add a lot of kind of utility, to add a lot of weight to our customers and to our gaming partners that we potentially start to partner up with. And this next slide is really about what's next. So, that's the theory and the ideas, and this is a bit more of the meat on the bones here. So what I'm going to be focused on for the next 30 days is really pulling together and working on our go-to-market strategy. And so what that will entail is basically taking this initiative to market. So first of all, doing a feasibility study, pulling together the business plans, thinking about the costs that are needed and the P&L that will need to run such a division at Telos, looking at bringing on more games online and looking to entice these kind of new AAA titles and really good games that are coming across. And to bring those products over to Telos, we really need to offer them some of the more sort of competitive features that some of the big guys are offering, such as the polygons and the immutables out there. And I think that gaming sidechain we mentioned is going to be a big draw, and that's going to stand us in good stead. But I think we need to also bring a few more things across, potentially in our arsenal. And these things are still very much ideas at this point in time. And as I said, the next 30 days is all about defining these in a bit more detail and drilling it down. So come the next meeting in December, we'll be able to present something a lot more concrete to you guys. But an incubator program was something I rolled out at Decentraland, and it was very successful in bringing across new products into our metaverse, our virtual world. And I think it can do the same in the Telos ecosystem as well, where we can potentially offer grants to incubators and also hold their hand a little bit more through the process of publishing their titles with us. And another thing I've been considering also is actually it would be great to bring to fruition a gaming hub platform. You may think of it as a launcher where we actually have a home for these games that we're working with and partnering with to be able to host their products on our own kind of launching platform. It'd be great for our sidechain to be able to what's this? Okay. Yeah, so this would be great to have a home for these games to be able to exist. We can leverage our new players that are coming to our platform and host and create them by enabling them to actually engage and retain those players on our platform through live ops and retention mechanics and quests and such like. And that's also where the gaming sidechain comes into play. So next from me, you can expect a 2024 roadmap, which will outline all the different initiatives that we have planned across the board. And we'll be sharing that in the next AMA.
Awesome. I guess we'll cover funding in that roadmap, right, Justin?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're very happy to have you on board, sir, and thank you for your time today and introducing yourself and talking about your background and your vision for gaming on Telos.
Very welcome, and thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. All right. So next, what we have coming up. On the 1st of December, we have a new page that's launching on telos.net that's going to outline what this Telos Evolved program is all about, followed by a series, really a mini series of videos that takes a little bit deeper dive into each of these things that we've briefly gone over today. And then the big day, December 18, that's when we will be having another live event where we will unveil the Telos Evolved roadmap, which includes all of the business and technical that we will be concentrating our efforts on in 2024, followed by the release of the full white paper that Alberto has been so diligently working on with our other teams. And yeah, so now it's time for a little bit of Q&A, and we'll bring everybody back to the stage here. See if we can get Lee back also. There he is. Wonderful. So we've got a few questions here, guys. We'll try to keep it on the shorter side, and I'm actually going to be limiting some of the questions. Justin, I think the first one is for you, since you just got done talking anyway. Which connections does Justin Edwards feel most excited to introduce to Telos?
That's a good question. Yeah, I was just checking which Justin it was. It's me. This is going to get confusing, isn't it? Sorry, other Justin. Yeah. I think in terms of connections, it's for me. It's more. The question is more about what does Telos need? Because I'm lucky enough throughout my journey to have, made a lot of connections and worked with a lot of different companies. And when I was at Decentraland, I did a lot of work with finance companies from JP Morgan, Ernst & Young, Santander, in fashion, DKNY, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, all these different companies, and so there's so many of them and connections. I did a lot of AI work at Decentraland with tech companies around working with NVIDIA and the Singularity Net and Amazon and such like. And I can make these introductions to these companies and connections. It's just more like, what do we need right now? and we can reach out to them.
Okay, awesome. Lee, you're next up here. Going into 2024, what are the biggest changes that Lee hopes he can make? I guess the foundation can make. So these are community submitted questions. We just copied and pasted them.
Oh, cheers. I appreciate that. And that's quite a big question as well, right, guys? So don't expect a short answer to this. Well, for me, it's about evolving, right? And it's about evolving into one and making sure that we're not only on a journey collectively, internally, but externally as a community as well, because we are about to go on a significant journey throughout 2024. And Jesus, it's going to get exciting. It really is. So, firstly, it's about collective vision. It's about technological brilliance that we're going to try to improve. So we're going to take strides into that throughout. And obviously, you've heard from Alberto, you've heard from Jesse, you've heard from JT, Justin, and it's getting proper confusing now. And also, what I want to do is improve upon inclusivity, token utility, and community engagement as well, which is very it's a passion of mine as well. So these are the things not only internally but externally that I'd be looking to improve on over the course of 2024. And we've got some interesting plans. We've got really some interesting plans, and I've been meeting up with not only the technical team, the operational team, but I'm telling you now, we have got a creative team. The creative team have been on fire all this week, and I'm so excited for them to start sharing what they've been up to in the background as well, because I think you guys will be really excited to see what they've been up to.
That's great. Next one's for Jesse. Is it possible to create an app that visualizes the entire Telos ecosystem, allowing users to neatly track where they have staked, where they have lent, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. And with EVM and native being two kind of networks within one blockchain, there's a lot of different pieces of data. Some of the biggest challenges become how do you present it to a user so they understand what they're looking at. We've talked a lot about how you might accomplish that. And really, we're going towards that direction with Teloscan, the web wallet, the native explorer. So it's definitely possible. The data is all there. It's just about figuring out how best to present it and understanding that there's different personas out there. We're really hoping to bring on mass adoption of Web2 users. So in too much detail can be off-putting. So I'm trying to present it in a way that's digestible for those millions of users we're hoping to join us in the Telos ecosystem. Becomes pretty critical.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Justin G, the OG Justin. How has Justin's role changed since he stepped down as CEO? Where is the main focus now on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I could take that, I guess, since it's about me. Yeah, so, obviously Lee's only a week and a half in, so it's very early days. There's still a lot of some transitional work, and I work very closely with Lee on a day-to-day to advise him on some of the operational changes that we have underway, especially with the merging of TF and TCD. So, really a lot of my day-to-day hasn't totally changed yet. Although one thing that has changed is that I've been more focused on, driving us towards bringing in new stakeholders into the ecosystem. We're sort of on a little bit of a investor roadshow or entering that, where, it's really about getting the new technology that we're building in front of new people, especially, not just in the US, but globally, getting them to learn about the potential of Telos and its next evolution. So that's something I'm really excited about. Still working on a lot of key deals for Telos, and we'll be excited to unveil something pretty special relatively soon. I can't really go into any details, But yeah, essentially, I offer a lot of what I have previously, but less on the operations side. It really gives me an opportunity to spend more time on the things that I really excel at, and less time on operational type duties, which is really great.
Could I add on to that, please, JT?
Oh yeah, please.
Because this dude is too humble, right? And to be honest with you, honestly, firstly, it was an honor and a privilege to take the baton over from you, Justin. Firstly, and then secondly, this guy has been nothing but supportive since I took the role. He's been supportive. I've asked him questions. He's been open. He's been transparent with all the information that he's given me, and it almost feels like it's teamwork more than anything else. It's not about who leads this organization, because I'm not here like that. I'm not here to kind of shoot my ego up to the moon, right? I'm here to get things done and make us operate and get great product out and grow and add utility to the token. And I'm telling you now, Justin has been overly supportive. And to be honest with you, a Telos ecosystem without Justin wouldn't be a Telos ecosystem, how I would see it. So I'm really glad that he stayed on in his role. And let's just say stay tuned around something that he's managed to be a significant part on the negotiating process. And hopefully we'll be able to announce that over the forthcoming weeks. And let's just say it's very exciting. And honestly, I doff my cap to you, Justin, and thank you again for helping me transition in so quickly.
Thank you, sir. Too kind.
Next question is for Alberto. How is the progress for building out ZK Tech on Telos? Are things on schedule? The famous on schedule question. Oh no, did we lose Alberto?
Might have frozen.
Yeah. Did you get that, Alberto?
I lost you, JT.
Oh, okay.
Maybe yes. Can you hear
You're
me?
back now. Yes, we can. How is the progress for building out ZK Tech on Telos, and are things on schedule?
Great. So yeah, let's say we're proceeding as expected on the white paper. So I mean, and maybe a couple of words here worth to be mentioned. So we have been working hard in these past months in designing the protocol, challenging, going over all the aspects, so including incentive schemes and all the dynamics of the protocol in order to make it very robust and at the same time fully decentralized and easily pluggable and so on. I cannot wait to provide details, so I will stop it here. But yes, to answer to the question, yes, we are going to. So far, everything is proceeding as expected. So we are proceeding with the plan, and in the next few weeks, I believe that we will be able to have the white paper ready.
Awesome. Thanks, Alberto. Now for a little bit of bold honesty. Maybe 3 or 4 of us can answer this one, but in the past, the TF has missed several deadlines. I guess TF and TCD for that matter. How are we planning to stick to the roadmap so that projects are announced and executed on time? What are the changes that we're implementing, guys, to make sure that what we say is going to be delivered on the roadmap is actually going to be delivered?
I'll take it first, and then everybody, and I think it'll be important for Jesse to answer, and maybe some of the other guys as well. But from my point of view, the whole point about Evolve is not only to become one team, but also to actually help each other along the way as well, right? From a resource point of view. And if we can do that along the way, we become more productive as well, right? And we streamline all of our processes, we streamline our resource, and then we we list down within our roadmap, which will be released obviously later on in December, regarding, hang on a minute, what we're going to do. We're not going to focus on 20 things at the same time. We're going to focus on one thing, deliver that, then another thing, then another thing, then another thing, so we can actually achieve what we're setting out to do within the roadmap. So it's having a structured process in place, and then obviously having the management software and the management in place to be able to deliver upon those deadlines and milestones as well. So that's something that I have a strong history on delivering upon. And something that I will strategically work with, obviously, you guys and the rest of the team to ensure that we get product out within a reasonable timescale, that is within an expected deadline that we release during the roadmap delivery just prior to Christmas.
Yeah, I do feel like that we've been a little bit spread out in the past, and we were trying to do too much at one time, which caused us to not be able to fully realize an entire roadmap in a year. And yeah, I think that I'm looking forward to 2024 and really getting that laser focus on. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I think if we look back at, deadlines missed or releases that maybe even didn't happen, I think years past we tried to do too much, often focused on the next new shiny thing without really completing maybe the previous, which leaves you with technical debt. And kind of like as Lee said, trying to do too many things at once and not focusing on taking one to a full completion and giving a product the true life cycle it deserves of releasing and then revising and, curating and kind of giving it the care and feed that it takes to have a product that is used and successful. So being able to narrow our focus, clearing out technical debt, a lot of what we've been doing over the past maybe year since we launched the EVM, it could be considered technical debt. We've released features, but some of them were kind of necessary that we should just have as a bare minimum for an MVP. And some of them are really cool new features that we have. So now that a lot of that stuff, now is or will soon be released and polished, and something that can be not necessarily constantly be maintained, but just works, reach the completion point before moving on to the next thing, allows us to really focus our energy on a few very important things and not have to worry about, things that we didn't really take to completion before, because we've now addressed the technical debt and we can just laser focus on a few really important goals and know, because we've planned so well strategically, that we're focusing on the right things. We don't need to worry about what new exciting thing might come up to distract us. We just keep our head down and focus on what our plan is, because we've done a really good, thorough job planning things, and we're confident in how we're going to execute on them. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So with that, I think we're right at 90 minutes, and the vision for the future is bright. The vision for the future is clean. I'm very impressed by what this team continues to come out with on a daily basis, especially since Lee has come on board, and just continuing to add incredible talent to the team will really make Telos successful in the coming years. Are there any other closing thoughts?
I'll just say, the three here on top have been here for 5 years. I think we have an incredible team here that we've put together, closed out here, with the rest of us. I'm so excited about having this team, this roadmap. We've been working on it for some weeks, bringing in some new folks, really solidifying the plan that we've been putting together, having everybody just lock in and say, this is great, let's go. I couldn't be more excited about what we're going to do in 2024. The roadmap that we keep talking about, it's been something we've been putting a lot of time into. Can't wait to really get it in the hands of the community and get it in the hands of everybody who's going to execute on it. Because it's, like Lee said, it's a big team adventure that we're going to go to battle, go to war, kick some ass, take some names, run out of bubblegum, all that stuff, right?
Don't worry about the names. We don't worry about the names. Just the kick-ass part.
I'll take the mantle as well. And just kind of an extension to what Jesse was saying, that we're going to war in 2024 for not only product excellence and technological development, but also from a culture point of view as well. So expect things from a community engagement point of view, and literally everything's going to be put on steroids in 2024. So expect huge things, guys. And I'm so excited. Like, we're sitting here, we're talking about, Alberto was talking about zero knowledge proof, which for listeners, you don't like. The use cases that this brings to our chain is absolutely unreal from a scalability, from a compliance point of view. And I'm looking forward to exploring this more on the 18th of December AMA as well, the town hall event, where we can really delve into the type of enterprise level organizations that we can bring onto chain and the use cases that we can create within the ecosystem, because that's where we're going. We're setting the foundations now. We're showcasing, we're showing everybody the technology, and it's almost like a proof of concept for everything that we're doing here. So we've got Justin in, and we're going to be showcasing the scalability and what the technology can do from a gaming point of view. And we're actually going to go for quality rather than quantity, because when me and Justin originally spoke, what's the issue with Web3 gaming at the moment is most of the games aren't enjoyable to play. What's the point of a game? They should be enjoyable to play, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go after game first, Web3 secondary, and we're going to make sure that the gaming experience is perfect. And that's what we're trying to achieve by that. And by doing so, what we then do, we then showcase our technology and what it's able to produce. And we can show this on the gaming side of things, which will then lead on as the 2024 goes on, and some of the meetings that I've got around other side chains. I envisage an ecosystem of side chains that all roll up to Telos EVM and Telos Zero. And I believe that we're going to have a very flourishing ecosystem of DApp developers, enterprise level enterprises, and also just a thriving DApp developer community. And let's just say I'm outstandingly bullish for the upcoming 12 months, and I believe that we've got the foundation of such a fantastic team to be able to deliver upon this. And I'm absolutely ecstatic to be part of this team, and really looking forward to the journey that we're about to go upon as well.
Hell yes. That is Telos Evolved, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we're going to be signing off. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to follow us in Telegram, on x.com, and always at telos.net. Have a great holiday. We'll be back with you here in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.